Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigerverse. It is Nigel here once again, and welcome back to System Shock Radio. I got a few topics for you guys, without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about something that I've kind of been reflecting a little bit on my channel, and that is that this month is Survivor Series. One of my favorite times of the year, Survivor Series. With the 5-on-5, brand supremacy, Raw versus SmackDown. And this year is going to be interesting because this year they have the War Games element. Now, I kind of talked about this a little bit before on a previous episode of System Shock Radio a few episodes ago. That Survivor Series this year is going to have the War Games element to it, which I think is pretty cool. It worked out for NXT, and of course, a lot of the methods that Triple H used for his time in booking NXT, he's bringing over to the main roster little by little, and War Games, it looks like, is no exception. So having War Games this year at Survivor Series is going to be interesting. And it looks like they are going to go with the 5-on-5 element for War Games. So hopefully it's pulled off really well. It should be pulled off really well. But just Survivor Series in general, the best of both brands, or even when it's not like brand versus brand, just the best from like both sides. For example, like Team Cena versus Team Authority from a few years back, I believe in like 2014, or like Team WWF versus Team Alliance before the first brand split even happened. Stuff like that is very cool, and it's pretty cool to see. You pretty much seen like the best from both brands. So this month on my channel, the Nigerverse, if you haven't already subscribed, but we're gonna be covering previous Survivor Series matches, old school Survivor Series matches. I already did the 5-on-5 from Survivor Series 2005, so go check out that review. But I also did Shawn Michaels versus Triple H versus John Cena Triple Threat for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series 2009, so go check that out. So yes, old school Survivor Series matches is not just 5-on-5s, but just Survivor Series matches in general. Some good ones. Might get a couple bad ones in there, I'm not sure, but I have yet to review like a bad match per se on my channel, so I may do that this month. I'm not sure, but so yeah, I'm excited for Survivor Series this year, and I'm usually pretty excited for Survivor Series. It doesn't always pay off well, but usually the hype around Survivor Series is very palpable, and this year should be no exception. Excited to see what they bring to the table this year for Survivor Series. So so we're gonna have to wait and see. Survivor Series, I believe it's let me check the exact date. I believe it's gonna be closer towards the end of the month, which makes sense. They just had, well, at the time of this recording, Crown Jewel was literally yesterday, or actually like 2 days ago, because I'm recording this after midnight. So it's literally like 12:17 in the morning. But so November 26th, and it's a Saturday. Why WWE's been having pay-per-views on Saturdays as of late, which is kind of weird that they're doing Saturday pay-per-views, but I believe it is the last Saturday of the month. But I'm excited, and I'm interested to see what they do this year with the War Games element. And I imagine they're still gonna have some like SmackDown versus Raw stuff going on, but I wonder how it'll play with the World Champions and the Tag Team Champions, because they're essentially one and the same. Of course, the Bloodline have both the titles, at least from both brands. Roman Reigns has both the WWE and Universal Championship. The Usos have both the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships. How this is gonna play out, we're gonna wait and see. But the next thing I want to talk about is snow. Winter is coming, indeed, in Buffalo. Winter is indeed coming. And the thing about snow, it's almost deceptive, because you look in the sky and you see the pretty snowflakes falling down all nice and white. They look really cool, and they're really beautiful to look at. Like, looking at the designs of like snowflakes is really, really cool. But then they form snow on the ground, the white stuff covering the ground, and it looks pretty at first. Like, aesthetically, snow looks really, really good, but then you gotta shovel it, and then you have to walk through it, and then you have to drive through it, and it's not fun. Like, it's pretty to look at from your house, but once you step outside the house, it's over. And of course, because as this is Buffalo, oh, and because it's been pretty warm this summer, like this was one of the hottest summers on record. That usually means there's a lot of snow, and I have a feeling this year there's going to be quite a bit of snow. I am not ready. I have low key been dreading the snow. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of those like hot summer days were really really muggy and really like really hot. But the snow, ooh, the snow this year is gonna be brutal. I can already feel it. But next thing I want to talk about is the 10th anniversary of perhaps one of the best factions in WWE history, the Shield, which speaking of Roman Reigns, of course, yes, 10 years ago, the Shield debuted at Survivor Series 2012 on the main roster, that is. But they took out Ryback as he was taking on WWE Champion CM Punk, which is crazy to think that Ryback and CM Punk not only were both around, but Ryback was actually getting WWE title shots. I think this is around when he when he seemed like a very viable contender for the WWE Championship. But yeah, so the Shield made their debuts in those kind of ugly, kind of funny turtlenecks, and then the rest is history. They went on to shape WWE as we knew it in the modern day, and they reigned supreme both as a faction and as individuals, and it really it changed the landscape of WWE for years to come. Even though not all of them are in WWE anymore. At the time of this recording, Roman Reigns is undisputed Universal Champion. He's doing the whole thing with the bloodline, and he's heel. He's at the top of the mountain. It wasn't like that for a while. They tried to push him as a face, as like the top star of the company. People weren't having it, but now he's a heel. He's leading the bloodline. He's doing incredible character work. Seth Rollins, current U.S. champion, killing it over on Raw. Of course, Monday Night Rollins. He's the visionary. He's a revolutionary. Seth Rollins is awesome. He is killing it for sure. And I did tier list for him for his attire, so if you haven't already, go check that out. But and then meanwhile, Jon Moxley is no longer in WWE. He left in 2019. I actually forgot that he left. Like the Shield's final chapter, he left right after that. I forgot that he left after Seth Rollins became Universal Champion. I could have swore it was before, but nope. But be that as may, later on that year in 2019, he would debut for AEW at their inaugural Double or Nothing event, and he's continued to be the workhorse for AEW, who putting on a lot of violent but fun matches against guys like Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston and guys like that. Current AEW World Champion, and all three of them are champions now. So even as individuals, they're still killing it. They're still revolutionizing the business and everything, and they've left such a huge footprint. Definitely guaranteed Hall of Famers, and which is Seth Rollins said that's the only way they'll reunite is when they go in the Hall of Fame, which I do believe they will. The question is who will induct them when they do go into the Hall of Fame. A couple people come to mind, such as this one's probably not going to happen, but CM Punk, since the Shield was kind of his idea, he wanted a team of mercenaries. He's essentially, while he was WWE champion, and actually CM Punk's idea was for it to be Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Chris Hero to be the Shield, but they swapped Chris Hero out for Roman Reigns. Honestly, I feel like in hindsight, Roman might have been the better choice, but that's honestly up for debate. Probably because while his hero is, while the Shield essentially need a muscle, Chris Hero definitely also very agile. But the thing is, the Shield already has an agility guy in Seth Rollins, so having Roman Reigns, don't get me wrong, Roman Reigns is very agile, of course, but Roman Reigns was more like the muscle of the Shield, so they really needed muscle, and so I feel like Roman fit that role a bit more. Nothing against Chris Hero. From what I've seen of his, I like him in WWE, and he's been elsewhere here and everything. At the time of recording, he's no longer in WWE. I think he got released, I believe, when the pandemic started, but But I feel like it might have worked out a little bit better, not only because Roman Reigns is more like the muscle guy that WWE was probably looking for, and I feel like Roman Reigns being a muscle guy and not like another agility guy, it kind of balances out the Shield a little bit. But that's just me. But also because they're all friends. Seth claims that John, aka Dean Ambrose, is closer to Roman Reigns, but like they're all friends and everything, and they became really really close. So, but happy 10 years to the Shield, one of the most pivotal factions in WWE. He put on fantastic matches against guys like Evolution and the New Day and everything. Wasn't always the best how they were booked, but still really, really great stuff. So, the Hounds of Justice, happy 10 years to you guys. And I remember, I remember the Shield seemed so cool to me, like their gear, how it was like SWAT gear and everything, and even like the brief like skull mask they used to wear was pretty cool, and the fact that they would come through the crowd was pretty awesome. So, oh yeah, the Shield definitely had an impact on me watching WWE, and to see how these guys pretty much really broke out as main eventers once they went solo. More so on the part of Seth and Roman. Dean got like main event success, but nowhere near as much as the other two, which people were upset at. But to see how much they contributed to WWE, he both as a team and as solo, is really really awesome. But nevertheless, the next thing I want to talk about is Super Smash Brothers, a game that's very near and dear to my heart, a game that I really really like. Now, sadly, I missed the boat for both the original on Nintendo 64 and Melee on the GameCube, but the games I have played, Brawl, Super Smash Bros. 4, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I've really really liked. And what I like is how it combines like the fighting aspects with the party aspects. Where, ooh, okay, so I'm gonna put in an edit there. A little tickle in my throat, but Super Smash Brothers. What I like is them combining like the party aspects, the party elements of like being able to play with friends and everything. You like a bunch of friends, about four, with fighting game aspects and the stages. They really dig deep into Nintendo lore, not just with the stages but the characters. There's all kinds of franchises represented. Some a little more than others. You got like the Golden Childs, like Mario, and Legend of Zelda and stuff. But there's plenty of characters there's to play as and to choose from. There's Mario, there's Luigi, there's Bowser. There's Kirby, there's some Pokemon in there, there's Captain Falcon, there's Fox, even Falco made it in, and even Wolf made it in. And there's Peach, there's Princess Zelda, there's Kirby characters. There's been other fighting games represented, such as Street Fighter and Castlevania, and Persona. So they even got Kingdom Hearts in there now, which a lot of people low-key wanted, but wasn't sure if they would ever make it into the game. So a lot of characters and a lot of fighting franchises and everything, a lot of franchises within Nintendo, and even beyond that, represented in the game. But that party aspect makes it like the fighting aspect is I think what makes it so fun. The matches can get pretty crazy, and essentially how it works is it's not like a designated health bar. Or the goal is amount of damage taken, unless it's like a stamina battle, in which case there is kind of like a health bar or thing. But you take damage, and then and then the more damage is taken, the more easily the opponents can be lost off the stage. Because ultimately, the goal is to launch your opponent off the stage and cause them to like lose and everything. And I think that stuff is really, really fun. It's something that you can play with friends, but you can also play on your own. And they do have some solo modes, such as like the story mode in like Brawl and in Ultimate. In Brawl, there was the Subspace Emissary, which I think was really, really cool for the most part. And in Ultimate, there is the World of Light. But that stuff really awesome, and definitely a big fan of it. Something I play quite a bit in my spare time. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is influence. So, looking up the dictionary definition of influence, and and why it's so important, as I always do, is the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself, or to have an influence on. That second one is kind of using a word to describe a word, but nevertheless, pretty much what you get from that definition is that oftentimes your actions will cause others to either do those actions or do the opposite of those actions. So when people see you and they see what you're doing, oftentimes they want to emulate it. Sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. And now, oh, sometimes you don't really have that much control over it. It, like, if someone does something that you don't necessarily do, or actually, let me phrase that. If someone does something that you do, whether you want them to or not, oftentimes it's because they saw you do it and they were interested enough to want to do it themselves. And it's not always your fault, but just be mindful that your actions, others see your actions and others see what you're doing, others see your intentions and stuff like that, and they want to copy it and they want to emulate it. So just keep that in mind, and just know that what you do can and likely will affect others who are watching, and people always watch. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. If you did enjoy this video, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe for more, or share it with your friends. Turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see it as soon as it drops. And I will see you guys later. Peace.